Hey everybody, welcome back into Roosters on Olentangy River Road in beautiful Columbus, Ohio. We are in the Horseshoe Lounge, and we have some special guests. First of all, Justin Zwick over here. He's in the pretty chair.
I don't know what to do with my hands. I'm on the wrong side of the table here today.
It's a road game for you.
Yes, it is.
But we're back.
I'm going to try and make it.
And after 5 years, 6 years, 10 years, Kamryn Babb has finally decided to come hang out.
Finally got him into the lounge.
Former Ohio State Blocko recipient and well-known touchdown scorer from last year, as you might remember quite well. And then reality show star Cam Brown.
You got them all today.
To come hang out with us ahead of his pro day on Wednesday. 2 Cams in the house. I don't know how you can beat that.
I don't know how.
Yeah, let's see. I'm the real Cam. He's the younger Cam.
Real Cam.
The real Cam. Yeah.
I'll let you two sort through that. It's great to have you both out here. Ohio. So this is a big week for you, Cam.
Definitely.
How's the hamstring?
Good. Everything's going good. Stu got me right in the training room, so no complaints. I'm ready to go out there and run.
Okay. So are you nervous for Wednesday?
Well, only nervous about I'm heavier than I used to. But other than that, I'm good. So.
Well, coming here and eating some Roosters will help. It's a perfect preparation for pro day.
But when you say you're heavy, what? Like how much?
I'm like 205.
205, and you're used to what, 190?
190.
Yeah, okay, 190. Wow.
I was 195 when we played Georgia.
So was that one, during this whole process, sorry to just but during this whole process leading up to, was it like, hey, we want to put some weight on you?
No, it just came.
It just came from working out and just doing all,
He's getting old.
That too.
It gets worse, trust me. It goes on quick.
Cam Babb, are you nervous to see what your buddy can do on Wednesday?
Nah, man. I've been watching him since we were like 13, 14. So, I got full faith in him. I know what he can do. So I'm just excited to witness it, and I know he's going to show out, though. He's going to do great things.
Is there any part of you that – so we'll tell people what you're doing now, first of all. I was going to say, are you regretting that you don't get to have a pro day of your own?
Right now I'm working in the athletic department with Gene Smith and the Gene Smith Leadership Institute. So kind of being the program coordinator, kind of helping in that area. But it hasn't really hit me yet. I probably when I see him running around a little bit, I wish that I was out there. But I don't really regret anything. Just my goal was to put everything out there and give it all I got. So that's all I could really do. And now I get to support him and see the journey that God has him on. So it'll be awesome though to watch it.
You said when we talked to you in December and you made the decision, so that this is it, I'm moving on. You're like, well, I'm open to whatever, and then 2 weeks later, you already had a job.
Yeah.
That worked out pretty quick.
It did. Gene, he loves his athletes. So the fact that he opened up that position for me, it was great. So I'm just thankful for it, though.
What are you going to be doing over there?
So right now, really just trying to kind of help create a program right now called CAP. Basically, it's a program to help the guys that are going into the league, trying to figure out what they need in terms of education-wise. So talking to former players that are in the league now of what did you need going into the combine, what are things that you wish you had, stuff like that. So I'm really just trying to help all student athletes as much as I can and kind of get my input in the NIL space and stuff like that. So
Cam told me that he was a better wide receiver.
I don't know if the film would agree with that. I don't know if the film would agree with that.
The eye in the sky don't lie. Is that what you're saying?
I don't think so. My little brother, he was talking about his hands yesterday.
Hey,
so
watch out.
he was later around.
No, he was a better receiver than me. I'm not going to act like he wasn't.
I think I was a better corner, though. I think if I would have transitioned into college and played corner, I'd have been. I think I'd have been better.
You guys just took the wrong path?
Yeah, is that what it was?
Just a
little crisscross,
yeah.
applesauce.
So
I want to ask Cam, though, before you guys.
Go for it.
You were one of the younger athletes to come on the Buckeye Cruise, and on this show, we talk about that a lot. The Roosters is very involved. What was your take from being there this year? I mean, did you have fun? Did the guys that were on the boat have a good time? Give a little insight to that.
Yeah, it was awesome. Really, I didn't really hear about it until this year just because it was something that, we weren't really able to do. So getting the opportunity just to go with all the guys, Meg, Tommy, Cade, and Steele, just being able to have the opportunity with them and then meet great people like yourself for a great cause. I think it was awesome, man. Just and especially just being able to be out there with you guys and see everything that we got to see. But I think just the relationships that you get to build, and it truly is like a family, as you can see. Just talking to so many different men and wives, it was awesome. So I was definitely thankful, and hopefully I can continue to go on.
So we had Austin and Berm a couple years ago. They got to get on the boat, and we'll be again. We'll be back.
They can't schedule it at the same time as the NFL Combine, so
That is the
know,
doozy.
We had to go.
Uh-huh.
We had to go to Indy to film our reality show, or his reality show.
Yeah, his reality. Yeah, listen to him. He's taking ownership. Huh? My reality show.
Nice on that.
No, it's not mine. I know it's not mine. How's that? Have you been having fun with the cameras around, Cam?
Yeah, I got used to it. At first, I was like, it's kind of weird. But after a while, I'm like, okay, it's cool. Like, I don't even pay attention to it no more.
It seemed like maybe the rest of the guys weren't quite as comfortable with it on Wednesdays.
Nah, not. They couldn't be themselves. You know, I was with T-Mac,
Oh, yeah,
Teron, Cage. All them, you know what I'm saying? You know how they are.
Yeah.
So you going to get us in there early on Wednesday for the full experience? How's that going to make Mick and let us in 6 a.m.? What do we have to show up on Wednesday? What's the plan for this?
I'm gonna get in early. I think it starts at 10:30. If it get there in the weight room like 10:30, weigh in and stuff. But I'm gonna be there probably like 8:30, 9.
How long have you been back in town since? Because you were down in Florida training, right?
Yeah.
How long have you been back in town? What does that transition look like? Because I remember long time ago, I worked out in Nashville, and I came back to town. You know, the week and a half before pro day, and it was like, all right, I'm on no schedule. You know, like because down in Nashville, it was like, all right, you're waking up at this time, you're eating here, you're working out here, you're eating again, you're doing this, and then I got here, and it's like, all right, I'm kind of doing what I want to do, and it's a little bit different. So how's that been? How long have you been back? You just jumping right into the workouts, you know, once you got back here as well?
So I've been here since Monday.
Okay.
I really just jumped straight to the workouts. So I really want to. I feel like I helped myself get better. I feel like being here just helped me. It's so much better and just a good environment. Like I don't mind going to the Woody now. I was going to train just because I was in there by myself today. We got practice today at 1 workouts. And then I was in there earlier, like at 9 o'clock doing my own stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Still trying to. I don't know. Just being here makes me want to like just work harder.
Yeah.
Well, you're so close at this point.
Yeah.
What else do you have besides Wednesday morning in the Woody?
So I meet with the Saints on Tuesday. Or tomorrow. So go get some film in, go dinner with them, meet the GM and stuff. Build a relationship with them. It's Ohio State pipeline with them. So,
The New Orleans Buckeyes.
Just a little bit.
then also I meet with the Bengals on the 3rd.
The Cincinnati Buckeyes.
All Ohio, man. I don't know. Try to get up there with the Browns too while I'm out there, but get to go out there on the 3rd. Meet with the GM and the coaches, position coach, and hopefully turn around the facility. I'm not sure if I'm working out yet or not, but possibly, but I'm not sure.
So they're taking you out to dinner.
Yeah.
What do you eat the night before pro day?
See, they take me to Hyde Park. I want to go crazy, give me steak and everything, but that's probably not the smart idea to do.
Hey, don't go porterhouse. you want something that keeps you light on your feet the next day.
It's
Huh?
like a setup.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. Do you order a bottle of wine? That's a bad check on the
No, we don't like that.
player evaluation.
No, that's not game preparation.
No,
The
yeah.
night before.
Yeah.
For people that don't remember, Cam, when was the first time that you two met?
So he actually went to it. We met freshman year in high school.
We met in 8th grade.
When was it? You might have to talk about it then.
I don't want to get to details. Well, in 8th grade, me and him we talked. I talked to a female. He talked to a female.
Oh, okay.
And they were friends. And
Yeah.
we met at her house.
Yeah,
So that was our
yeah.
first
Oh,
time. we
boy.
met.
Yeah, but he started off at a different school freshman year. So he went to DeSmet in St. Louis and then recognized he wouldn't be able to beat us. So then he came over that next semester and joined us. So that's kind of how that story
That's not the
went
case.
down.
All I know is when I played y'all, I went off. So I think we beat.
No, y'all lost. Yeah, he lost. Yeah, y'all lost. Y'all lost.
You remember that part?
It's all right, y'all lost.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's
A lot
okay.
of revisionist history over here.
Oh yeah. But nah, this my dog, man. Known him for a while, so a long time.
So to see everything that you both had to go through for 8-9 years, I know from talking to you both separately how much that friendship meant. I don't know that people put that together. Like you were going through the same things at the same time, and it wasn't fun or easy for either one of you.
No, so he's the reason why I kept going so hard. Just seeing him battle through injuries, and I battled through mine as well. But seeing him going out there, has injuries, and just keep going no matter what, that really like motivated me. My drive to keep going. So he right here, he did everything for me, man. He reason why I'm here at Ohio State. I came to a camp with him, he didn't do nothing. You know, 5-star guy. You know how they get.
The red carpet rolled out when he got here.
Exactly. So I got here, worked out with him, with Coach Meyer and Coach Smith, and they offered me on the spot. So it was amazing. All because of this guy right here, man.
Nah, that was all him. So yeah, it was definitely interesting though, just because obviously we had different injuries, but we're just always battling that injury aspect of things. And he was one of the guys really, just since I've met him, that's always spoken life into me. So. You see my story and everything, but like just as much as I've helped him, I would say he's helped me more than I can ever express. So I definitely wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. So yeah, man, it's been a journey. So
All I asked for one more year. Last year I said, just give me one more year, bro. Just give me all you got, and that's what he did. So I love him for that. He scored a touchdown and everything. So I cried on the sideline. I ain't showing him. I tell you on the sideline, I was like, bro, he's finna score right here. He's finna score. And I told Coach Mick, I said, I'm running on this field. I don't care if we get a flag. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't think anybody would have cared, or did care at that point.
At first it was like, no, he scored, and we just rushed. It was crazy. Wow.
Yeah, I was wondering what your vantage point was for that play. I don't think I ever asked you that. Where were you watching that for the play?
I saw I was on the sideline. I'm like, we right here. I'm like, oh yeah, Cam finna score. I know the formation. I know the route because I've seen it so many times. So I was like, okay. I ran to the sideline. I was like, he finna score right here. He finna score right here. He scored, and then we just lost it, man. It was crazy. I was standing right next to Stu. He was happy. It was crazy, man.
So it's been what, 4 months now, Cam?
Mm-hmm.
Does it feel like that was yesterday, or the emotion's the same as it was in real time?
Yeah, I mean, I think when you go, when you have a journey that's 5 years and you're just working towards something like that, I think it will be there for the rest of my life, really, just looking, especially when you look back and you see pictures, like got pictures with him and some of the other teammates and just the video within itself that Ohio State made. When you go back and watch that, it's just, again, you just so thankful for that moment and just for all the people that that God surrounded me with, like him, to help, build me up and support me throughout this journey. So, I don't think it'll ever just go away. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Jason?
I was just thinking as you asked him that question, like, you guys will have that forever because the internet is here and it's all on. Like, I try and go back and think about moments I had. I was like, oh, that's not on the internet.
Yeah.
So you gotta have that sharper mind to remember something like that. But I mean, you're transitioning into working at Ohio State now. Have you kept up with these guys as they've been working out? I mean, I know you got other stuff. You got life. Life comes at you fast, in that situation. But I mean, these are still guys that you went out with, you played this whole season with. Checking up on that. You'll be there Wednesday, I'm guessing. How's that been? Just have they even reached out to you? Just just see how things are going, or how's that relationship been? Because I know, like when I went out, everybody kind of goes their own direction. So how has that been? Just in these few months where you guys kind of start going your own direction.
Yeah. It's definitely different, I would say. But the great thing about it is, even with like him, like we'll be connected for life. Like we'll be right here for life. So, and the fact that I'm in Columbus right now, I'm roommates with it's me, Mecca, Xavier Johnson, and Lloyd Mafarquhar, and then he's posted with us too right now. So I mean,
just on the couch.
On the couch.
Sleeping on the couch before pro day. Come on.
Yeah, you gotta get that Tempur-Pedic or something, man. Someone's gotta give it up.
Yeah, man. So, but yeah, man, just being in Columbus, being surrounded around the guys, like obviously Emeka and X are still on the team, so talking with them. And then right now, even just doing rehab and stuff, making sure my knees are good with Stu still. So the fact that I get to go in there and work out and do everything. So I'm definitely still around, just not in the same capacity. So I guess more than anything, I just miss the locker room atmosphere, just being with the guys. But just, knowing that this brotherhood and this will always last forever. So
I'll tell you that missing the locker room will never go away. I think I talked about in the Buckeye Cruise, they just asked about what's the greatest things, like, that stuff that y'all hated. Or not the locker room stuff, but the workouts and just being around the boys and having that is one thing that, man, when they ask you what you miss the most, like that's the kind of thing. And as you saw on the cruise, I think that's a reunion for us. A lot of the guys that we played together, so it's like that's our time to get back together and kind of reminisce on some of those stories and have that kind of fun. So you'll always have that, and that's great. That you already know that and that you're seeing it, and you being with the university, these guys coming back into town, you'll always be able to take care of them and make sure they got what they need, I'm sure.
That's how I felt I felt during the process. 2 months I was by myself. I was like, this stuff I had. I mean, it sucked. But it was boring. And I got back here, everybody on spring break. I'm like, okay, this is awful now. But then today I was happy in the locker room. I don't care how tired I was. I woke up, came here happy, smile on my face. got to see my brothers, man. It was just amazing. Man.
Let's talk about some of those guys. It would be a shame if we didn't get some insight on the team. As you found out in Indianapolis, everybody just wants to know about you guys go for your own professional journey. All we want to know about are the next Buckeyes to replace you.
Mm-hmm.
Cam, you brought up X. Like, I'm really intrigued by how that works. Like, we know that those top 3 are right there. They're coming back and with a lot to prove. I just, like, how do you use Xavier Johnson? Because there's so much athleticism and so much drive and work ethic there.
Yeah, I think that's the thing is, like, how do you use him? Because you can use him, like, you can put him anywhere on the field. Like, no matter where you put him, he's going to do his job. And really, we've been seeing that since, like, freshman year. Like, he was on scout team and back with, like, Chase Young and all them, and he was, like, playing quarterback, running back, receiver. So we've always seen us there, and just to see him get his moments this year and really step into the light has been awesome. And I know he's going to ball out. I know he's going to do better things than he did this year, and hopefully, like, really being able to show the world, like, who he is as a football player. So I can't wait to watch.
What an incredible benefit surplus for Ohio State. You have all these 4- and 5-star recruits, and then you're like, well, you got to find room for this walk-on. Like, who scores a touchdown in the Peach Bowl and helps beat Notre Dame? Like, it's just crazy how that works. It seems like year after year there's somebody who emerges in that role. Mitch Rossi, Xavier Johnson, these walk-ons. Like, I don't know how that happens at Ohio State.
I mean, in our eyes, Xavier was never a walk-on.
Yeah.
Like, the way he played, it was off the charts. No matter first day in, he started off in corner. That's the crazy part. He's like 215 corners. But he's been moving around. If he finally got on the home offense, I see more like a Debo Samuel type of guy. Receiving, running back, everywhere. Like, it doesn't matter.
And just the way he works. I mean, everybody works hard, but the way, like, guys like that, he works. It's amazing to watch. Just like somebody that really, I mean, everybody earns what they get, but, like, he really had to start from the bottom as a walk-on, and obviously that life is a little different. You know what I mean?
I always remember saying, like, I don't know if I'd be able to do it if I was a walk-on, Like, I mean, it's a grind,
exactly.
100%. So, I mean, it's awesome. I think that's why people love those stories, even players, like, you love that so much because, like, man, we know what he went through. We at train table, back in my days, like, man, we got to go to train table. They didn't, like this, all the little things. It's like, it's so awesome to see them, get up there and get rewarded for all their hard work. So that's great. I'm going to go ahead and hijack it because there's a quarterback competition going on, and you guys would probably know a little bit something about those two guys who are coming up behind us. I'm going to let both of you answer because you have a different perspective being on the other side of the field, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You probably much closer, seeing those guys on a daily basis. What can we expect out of these two young guys?
I guess I go.
Yeah, you go ahead. Yeah.
I say it's gonna be a very competitive battle. They both great players. One is a super athletic, can throw. One is a pocket dot you up the whole field. So it's just what type of offensive approach that our team want to take. That's what I would say. But honestly, I'm cool with either one of them playing, starting. It doesn't matter to me. Rotating.
Yeah.
They're both great players. So.
You want a rotation?
No, don't say that. Don't you put that out there. We hate quarterback rotation.
I'm not saying
Pick
that.
one.
I'm not saying that.
This
But
man
like,
had his life ruined.
It's the worst. Don't do that to him.
no rotate. But like, I don't know who's.
No, you're saying either way, you can't go wrong, really, right? I mean, and I know, and I don't want you to have to pick one or the other.
He's coming with the hard ball.
We talked about this the other way, and you kind of touched on it a little bit, where you had one. Coming into the spring, it's kind of what we've heard is one's really athletic, one's going to sit in the pocket and kind of throw it up. But do they both have that athletic ability where they can get out and create something if the pocket falls? Or I mean,
they both can.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like you got Mike Vick and Peyton Manning, right? They're both able to do what they need to do to keep a play going.
Yeah.
That's not off the charts one way or the other, right?
No.
Yeah.
More of when I say pocket, is more of like he can still scramble. He can still go get a first down if he need to. But that's only a difference.
Okay. What do you think? I mean,
I would agree. Just to build on that, I would just say, I mean, they're both like he just said, they're both great players. They got a different play style. I would say one is more of a pocket, and then the other one kind of
maybe looks to create more, and when he maybe doesn't have to all the time, type of thing. Okay.
I think they both put it. I mean, just the way Ohio State quarterbacks have been since I've been here, just from Coach Day and the development.
Pretty dang good, huh?
We've been blessed to have them, and whoever it is, I know they're going to lead the team and make sure that they get where they're supposed to get to. So I think it's going to be an exciting battle, heads and tails. I can't really just sit here and I know it's going to be this guy. And I know just the one thing you always like, you have the quarterback competition, like guys are against each other, but I know they support each other. And just the whole football team, just a culture, everybody's behind both of them. So that's the great thing about the brotherhood. So I'm excited to see, who is that.
Okay, and one more question on the quarterbacks, and this isn't on both of them. It's just a question about how you guys feel on this. A quarterback wearing number 33. I absolutely hate it.
Hey, I don't know what I don't know what Devin.
What do you guys think about that?
When I first saw it, that was a joke.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
But I thought, okay, maybe he in trouble or something.
Take away his jersey number.
Okay, no, he just actually just switched his number. But I didn't know it's a
Yeah, the story behind it is it's good, but
it's a good story behind it.
Looks terrible, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Thank you. I'm glad I'm not crazy.
I don't know what Dev is doing, but but it's okay, man. When you see Dev and it's number 33, you're always gonna remember him. Like, he's gonna be different. So
You can't forget it.
Yeah,
definitely different, no doubt.
What's
All right.
33 out there throwing the football around?
Exactly.
Hey, if you ball out in it,
Hey, right? Hey, that's all that matters, no doubt.
That's it.
Cam, do you have office hours you have to keep? Or you're going to be over Tuesdays, Thursdays, watching every practice?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna try not to be over there too much.
That's part of the job, Austin.
If I can get over there, I'll
saying
get
it's
over
not.
there. Yeah, be obviously getting. I've worked out and seen a few spring practices and stuff. So want to see over there, see what Coach Harline's doing and what all the receivers are doing. So it's it's a blessing to be over just across the street and being able to come over and watch when I can. So
When you guys are getting ready for the first spring scrimmage, we in the media were like, well, this is huge, pivotal day. Going to determine all these position battles. Is it as important for you guys in it, the first one, or?
I don't think so.
Great, come on, don't give away all our secrets.
No, I feel like it's gonna be exciting because there's a bunch of new players here, people that transfer in. So I'm excited to see how the back end. That's how I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
But I know the defense is pretty much the same, besides a few missing pieces. But other than that, it's the same players. They know defense better. Probably got more plays in now, so. Should be more exciting on the defensive end. I'm not sure offense. You guys always been exciting, so.
Well, going into that scrimmage, because I remember we had jersey scrimmages. So offense versus defense, whoever won got the scarlet jerseys.
Yeah.
Whoever lost, I mean, do you feel like we know Saturday we got to ramp it up a little? Maybe not ramp it up because every day you're going hard, but I mean, you're going into that scrimmage on a Saturday, that first scrimmage of the spring. Do you know there's a little bit more there? I mean, or is it just that we're just going out and practice? I mean, because we like to say, all right, man, they're going to get after it today.
Oh, no, they are going to get after it. It's because, think about it, it's just more of for the older guys.
Well, they're not practicing.
Wait, Marvin doesn't have to go.
Yeah, what?
I don't know.
Yeah, he's not going to take a shoulder pass to the.
Marv, he probably will. He loves.
He will.
They'll have to pull him.
Yeah, well, they're going to have to tell him to go sit down.
He'll do it.
But for the younger guys, when you really want to earn your spot and get your respect,
that's the chance to go out and really show it,
you
right?
better go crazy. If you don't, you gonna get. I ain't gonna lie. This is where you get labeled. This is your first scrimmage. You really get labeled depending on the type of player. Are you physicals, tough, soft, or don't care?
Yeah. What the film shows, and you're gonna sit in that meeting the next day, and they're gonna point it out and say, right here,
in front of the whole team.
Yep, in front of the whole team.
And I think it's good too, just because it's like that game atmosphere. It's like you're not just practicing just to practice. You know what I mean?
We're in the shoe, right? I mean, you guys doing the shoe,
it's
right?
Like the environment of it. It's like a real game atmosphere. Without like the fans and all that, but it's just to do that and make plays and celebrate with the defense, celebrate with the offense. I think it changes it when just going to practice and doing indie drills and then going to whatever it may be. So it brings a different type of feeling to it.
I knew it was
No,
important.
I love playing in the stadium. It's so much. I'm thinking that I'm thinking of fall camp scrimmages. That's on the field.
Yeah.
I didn't forgot about it in the stadium. No, in the stadium it's a different.
Anytime you can get in there, right? I mean, it's weird when nobody is in the stadium because it's just empty. But I mean, you're still in there, and it's still got that feeling to it.
Exactly.
The most important thing is that the media is going to be there. So that's
cool.
what we're all looking forward to.
Yeah.
In addition to Appetizer Tuesday, JC.
Appetizer Tuesday. I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but if you come into a Roosters on Tuesdays,
Any Roosters.
they have Appetizer Tuesdays. $3 will get you tomorrow. Fried mushrooms, one of Bill Zwick's favorites.
Justin Zwick's favorite.
No.
That's what that was.
I didn't know these were
Fried mushrooms. Oh, come on, baby. Yeah, you go ahead and try one of those.
See, Cam's digging in now.
Best fried mushrooms in the city right there. But Tuesdays at Roosters all throughout the city. $3 appetizers.
$3?
$3. And they change every week. So come in, make sure you get your appetizers. After Pro Day.
After Pro Day.
Next week.
Next week.
You know, when you can relax a little bit, you come get some appetizers, $3 Tuesdays.
Or you can just come on Mondays where we
Or you come join us again in the lounge. It won't take another 5 years to get you in here,
pick
huh?
up the whole time. That's right.
Yeah.
It's
you
him.
know?
I asked so many times.
No.
Every
please.
day he's like, man, I try to get Cam.
Please.
You know, it's like, man.
Famous, man. Famous.
Especially
Well,
now.
once you start
St.
reality
Louis,
TV,
Columbus,
you know,
yeah.
that head just
the
goes,
last,
and then, you
the
know.
last 2 years, I said, hey, it's NIL. We can help get a little money in your pocket. Like, we'll pay you to come out and endorse Roosters.
That's how good these guys are doing. They don't even,
said,
they turn down
He
Roosters.
said, okay, sure.
No, I said, okay, let me know. Guess what? I didn't get a reach out.
Huh. I don't know. That's a lot of revisionist history. It's always like this, Cam. Like,
Yeah, he's always famous, man. Ever since CBC back in St. Louis, famous guy.
This
Man.
guy doesn't answer his phone. Phone always gonna do down the stairs. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to hear nothing from this guy.
well, he's got a real job now. He's not
yeah.
See,
not-
responsibilities, you know, responsibilities. Can't just go run the 40 all day. You know what I mean? I gotta
That's great.
Well, this guy will do that on Wednesday. We're looking forward to
Yes.
covering that, and it may just be part of a future episode of Dream Chaser with Cam Brown. We very much appreciate both guys coming in to hang out on the first part of the show. Cam Babb, Cam Brown. Jay-Z and I are going to be back. We're going to bring in Berm and Bill. We're going to talk a little bit more about the Buckeyes in a massive, enormously important scrimmage
Big time.
on Saturday.
Huge.
When we come back in here into the Horseshoe Lounge at Roosters, it's a fun casual joint.
Roosters has been so fortunate. We just want to be able to give some of that back to the community.
They donate to organizations that are near and dear to their heart, and we're so fortunate to have been with Roosters now for a long time.
They always go above and beyond to help support our foundation to further help veterans.
It's just a wonderful feeling to know that Roosters supports the Buckeye Cruise for Cancer.
All the folks at Roosters are just genuinely kind folks, and they want to make a difference.
Thank you, Roosters Foundation.
Thank you, Roosters.
Thank you, Roosters.
Thank you, Roosters Foundation.
All right, welcome back into the Horseshoe Lounge at Roosters. We have made a line change.
Yes.
Yes.
Berm is here.
Less athletic.
Yeah.
Bill is here.
Just a tad.
The athleticism has made a precipitous drop in the wrong direction.
Well, that's all right. We're
Yeah.
trying to just evaluate the Buckeyes, and we don't have, now we've got guys who weren't in it, except for Jay-Z.
Yeah.
But he's in a different chair,
Yes.
so his perspective.
You guys are really throwing a lot at me today. I don't know, man.
Put it on your shoulders, Jay-Z.
I feel like Rocky in the 9th round just getting beat up. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it.
Well,
You're going to be all right.
Yeah.
eat some fried mushrooms. you will.
I already did.
Good.
Isn't that Bill Zwick's favorite?
Well, it is, but, you know, apple doesn't fall far from the tree is what they say.
So we have confirmed now that Saturday scrimmage is massively important.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, otherwise the media wouldn't be allowed to watch it.
That's right.
What do we need to figure out this week?
Who's playing quarterback? Who's playing wide receiver?
We know who is going to be playing quarterback.
Who's your right tackle? Who is your defensive tackle depth? Who's actually capable of playing at linebacker behind Tommy and Steele and Cody? I mean, there's a few other things. How much time we got?
All you want.
Well,
No, I mean, but
if we need a lot after that list.
the reality is this is a team that is extremely talented, as they always are, but there are more question marks heading into this spring at some key positions than there have been in a few years. But, you know, I don't think it's that important one way or the other on Saturday to figure out any of them, as we talked about on the podcast daily this morning. Like, it's the first scrimmage, and they've practiced twice to this juncture, so let's not get crazy.
But by Saturday, they'll be a third of the way through camp.
No. They're
Well,
a sixth of the way through camp.
Tuesday, Thursday, and then Saturday, right?
Tuesday, Thursday,
Yeah,
Saturday,
two practices with shoulder pads on.
Yeah, after a week off, by the way, which doesn't seem like
so weird
seems
to
kind of
me.
messed
That's
up.
what I'm saying. It's crazy to go through this big old, like, let's get them acclimated.
Let's get acclimated
And then
and
go
not
on
do it.
spring break. Hurry up and wait.
Yeah, I've never understood that. I feel like everybody does it now. A lot of different schools do. I've seen online. I think it's important for these guys just to get reps. I don't think that the scrimmage is going to necessarily show us a ton. It is early, but I think it's good to get these young quarterbacks in the shoe. Even though it's not 100,000 people, I think being in the shoe, being in charge of that offense against the number one D, I imagine they will do some of that. Maybe not the whole day, but just to let them go and get that experience. I think that's going to be big. I don't think you're going to come out of it with any answers on who number one's going to be. But then again, you might come and say, "Hey, man, so and so looked like he was pretty darn comfortable out there, and he looked good, but maybe he didn't look as comfortable." You might get some of that. I think to Berm's point, I'm not going to go through that whole list he did, but I think our tackles are a big issue on finding out who's going to be there, even left tackle. Even though we have a guy there, We got to figure that out because the new quarterback,
Josh Fryer's never really played there. So,
yeah. So you have two new guys, and that's a huge part in having a new quarterback in the saddle. You know,
you can put him there, but that doesn't guarantee that it's going to work.
100%. So I think that's a big issue. But it's going to be a great day to get them in the shoe and the whole team in general. And I'm just sad I'm not going to be able to be there.
You got to go skiing.
Well,
I hope they have nachos. That's all I'm really interested in is making sure one concession stand is open so we can get some chos.
I don't think you're going to have some chos.
The famous concession stands in the Woody.
Love those.
Well known for his concession stand.
Yeah, I mean just a mobile sesh, for some chos.
Some chos.
That's not going to catch on. Nobody's calling them chos.
Say it one more time. Say it one more time.
I don't know. If you've ever had you've ever had really good chos, you know that because you're so consumed in consuming the chos, you don't even have time for two syllables, right? You have to pick.
Call them in Scottsdale.
You have to pick the most important syllable. Some people would obviously call them a notch. I get it.
Yeah, I was wondering why you didn't go with.
I get it. I just like the chos.
Chos. Okay, I like notch better.
Notch is way better.
Go get some notch.
I'm gonna go hit up some cheesy notch.
Are the nachos good at the
you wouldn't
stadium?
say cheesy chos.
They're not even at the stadium. It's in the Woody, isn't it?
They have nachos in the Woody?
As far as I know.
No, but I'm just hoping.
Let me check my email. Maybe it isn't.
I'm just hoping someone brings me some chos.
Oh my god!
I don't think so.
I'm not gonna bring you chos.
All right.
There is Student Appreciation Day where they bring out the food trucks.
That's next.
But
next week.
you won't be there for that.
That's correct.
There would be some chos.
We'll
there.
mail you some
chos.
What food trucks do they bring in?
The Stirs truck shows up. Just to.
Yep.
I'm gonna keep chopping words in half and only
Stirs, maybe some hot chick take. You never know.
That's the front part.
Usually there's like a trophy there to take a picture with. I don't know what they're going to do this year.
Ooh, it has been a while since they cleaned a trophy.
Yeah.
Don't even have like a Rose Bowl trophy this time.
Right.
Wow, the Penn State guy has a lot of barbs to throw. But anyway, let's talk about football. Let's talk about football today.
Hey, remember when he tried to blame me for the show getting off the rails?
Bill,
He comes in with chos.
Bill, you're the
Right
you're the offensive line, guru. Like what
Enthusiast.
when you're looking at a player
Guru?
when you're looking at a player like Josh Fryer, do you go that's a left tackle? Or do you go, I don't know if that's a left tackle?
No, I think he's a tackle. I don't know, right, left, how much of a difference is there really? The thing that I think there's you want probably different length than what Josh Fryer has if he's going to play left tackle, but he's a basketball player. He's got good feet, so I don't know. I'm intrigued by it. I don't look at it and think like, oh, that's not going to work. But when he played tackle last year against Indiana, he was really good on the run. He was really good the whole game, but like Indiana doesn't have speedy dudes on the edge. They're really going to test him. Ohio State does, so like I'm really interested to watch him just kind of handle more speed, regardless of which side he's on. Like I want to see if Kenyatta Jackson like lines up against him, and I know Kenyatta's not done a whole lot, but we think he's a pretty fast guy at defensive end. I would like to see that matchup. I want to see how he might handle the strength of a JT Tuimoloau, and I'm assuming he's done these things in practice because there does seem to be a decent amount of confidence in him. But I guess it's different, like taking the coaching staff's word for it and trusting that they know what they're talking about and like seeing it with their own eyes. Because I remember, I don't know if it was last spring or last summer when people were talking about Zem Mohalski, and he's like, oh, he's turned a corner, he's ready to go. And then like I went down to the end of the field and watched one-on-ones. It's like, are you sure? And it's like it's not. Zen was in his second year. Like it's okay that he wasn't holding his own all that well against Ohio State's starting defensive line. But if that's happening a lot on Saturday, I don't know. There might be a little bit of a red flag there for me, even though it is only one. The thing that's really important that we do a lot is like we make wholesale judgments on one sample size. Like I think it happened with like Kyle McCord in the Akron game. Everyone thinks he stinks because he didn't throw for 17 touchdowns in that game. So I'm trying to remind myself to like, no matter what you see, this is the beginning of the journey. It's not the end of it. That's deep. But if the offensive line like looks comfortable, to Jay-Z's point, I think that does say something. I'm not going to take the negative and like run with it and extrapolate it. But if guys look like they kind of know what they're doing, I think that's a good sign.
They also probably won't look like that. I mean, if you see this spring after spring after spring, it's just easier for the defense, Jay-Z, to get up to speed.
Yep.
And you see that most specifically with the defensive ends going head-to-head. Once they go 11 on 11 and you only have to tag the quarterback and he's down, like it's a lot easier for them to win reps, and they do, but they also win a lot more of them, it appears. And I think that – so what will happen on Saturday, I'm sure, is that we'll leave and we'll say, well, Jack Sawyer's got it figured out. He's back at full-time defensive end, and he made Zen Mahalski look bad time after time. And Kenyatta Jackson, look out for this guy. 4 sacks in a scrimmage, or Amari Abor, or Caden Curry. And well, it's a good thing for the defensive ends, but also that's not been carrying over necessarily into sack production in the season.
No.
So
Yeah, think about how many sacks Zach Harrison would have had if it was just tapped.
he would have a million. He would have been the most successful sack artist of all time. So it's interesting to evaluate it because the offensive line and the tackles wound up being way more advanced by the time the season rolled around, and then the pass rush didn't come. And we'll make too big of a deal of it both ways, I'm sure, on Saturday. And I think in the long run, I don't know, this year I may actually have more faith in the defensive ends to produce than the tackles, and that's the inverse of a year ago.
Yeah, I remember. I think like the past 2 spring games, there have been like defensive ends who've like set the world on fire, and you like go back and watch it, and like no offense, but like they're going against Grant Touton, who's never played here before, and I don't know if he ever will. And it's just like a different caliber of athlete. So it is a good reminder that whatever we see on Saturday, and I'm excited and I'm glad we're going to see it. It is not gospel. a lot of things can change between now and August.
There are so many question marks at so many positions that are like kind of normal. Like quarterback, if there's a quarterback battle, everyone's going to talk about it forever. Ohio State, we're always talking about who the next corner is. But like in the last decade or so, I can't remember a time where the offensive line and defensive line for Ohio State felt so uncertain. And I think sometimes
D-line feels that way for you too?
I mean, the interior of the defensive line is extremely untested. And I know we saw a lot of Ty Hamilton a year ago, but I don't know that he did what we thought based on all of the preseason hype to what we've talked about already. Like sometimes the coaches are saying this guy's making the turn, but then you get him on the field and it's like, well, he's solid, but he's not making game-changing plays. And other than that, I mean, inside the defensive line, like there's not really anyone there that has done it. And there's not a lot of guys there who haven't even because the depth is so short. So I think sometimes we gloss over the Larry Johnson's position group and say, oh, they'll be fine. They always are. But if you look at the Ohio State defense in the last couple of years, the lack of production from the defensive line has led to some issues on the back half because you can only cover for so long. So there are all these things are tied in together, and certainly you have to see something on Saturday that gives you hope for Kenyatta Jackson and Amari Abor, period. Like, you know what you're going to get out of Caden Curry. You know he's going to go out there. He's going to run around like a chicken with his head cut off. It's going to be crazy. Maybe he's not going to hit the quarterback, but he's going to impact plays. Kenyatta Jackson and Amari Abor, we haven't seen them ever yet at Ohio State. So because there's only 4 defensive ends on this current roster, really, that's a problem, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, those guys have to show up.
To play, especially the way we like to rotate.
Because they're going to be going against backup offensive linemen, they better be showing up on Saturday and winning those reps, because if they're not, that is a serious red flag. Ooh. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
Yes.
No, I don't disagree with that.
This one, Chos should be nachos. You're wrong on that one.
Too many syllables.
Yeah, it was interesting because we've been waiting for the next. I mean, we got so lucky on the defensive end side of things where it's just like Bosa.
I can't.
Oh, is he still doing
I've
that?
tried. I can't do the dab this way. I don't know why.
Try it.
It feels awkward.
Try it.
Don't hurt yourself.
You just did it the wrong way. There you go.
It doesn't feel right.
But it keeps your right hand out of my face.
Anyway.
The dab itself is what does not feel right.
Disagree.
I disagree.
It's funny because I do this way, right in his face.
Doink. But you're left-handed.
I've never dabbed.
I'm ambidextrous.
Now, what were you saying?
I was just saying we got lucky. I don't even remember now.
You got lucky because you had a run of defensive ends.
Bosa, and then, so it's like, all right, when's the next one? We had Zach Harrison coming down the pike, and it was just like,
well, I mean, there are 2 5-stars on the line
100%,
right now.
Not that we haven't recruited well, and we have guys.
And obviously, I said there's 4 defensive ends. I forgot Jack Sawyer's back there, so there's technically 5, I guess. But either way, that's not exactly the depth you're hoping for at Ohio State, especially considering Caden Curry should probably be playing Jack, and because Amari Abor and Kenyatta Jackson have never played.
They're short of tackle,
Doesn't sound good.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The depth is so concerning.
Where's that come from, Berm? You're the recruiting guy. Did they not see this coming down the?
Well,
I mean, they
tried.
Totally whiffed on defensive end this year.
Yeah, they tried to recruit 3 defensive ends in the class of 2023, so incoming freshmen, and didn't get any of them. The one guy they got at the back half of the recruiting cycle, Joshua Moore from Joshua
Mickens.
Joshua Moore is a receiver from Texas a few years ago. Joshua Mickens
a few years ago.
He's just got young dudes.
He's going, man. Young dudes all up in his head all the time.
Joshua Mickens is more of an edge, more of a jack, but he won't be there till June, so you're just still short just the body. So they had Jack Sawyer and JT Tuimoloau in the class of 2021. You had Kenyatta Jackson and Omari Abor in 2022, and then nothing in 23. And because you recruit 5 stars like Tuimoloau and Sawyer, the expectations those guys should be gone after this year if they're doing it the right way. So now you're in a real pickle, not just for this year but for next. Anyway,
I feel like this was all just bait to try and get. Jay-Z mentioned the rotation. You're talking about the recruiting. You said at some point you just have to, give deference to Larry Johnson. You assume that things are going to be okay. I'm not sure that that's the case anymore.
I wasn't trying to goad you into this, I swear.
I know, but everybody said something that was like, we're gonna force Austin to do this.
I don't know that we want to do it. I think it's just because the success has been so glaring in the last decade that now all of a sudden it's not there. I think it's just part and parcel where we're like, he'll figure that out. They always do.
But I don't think that that's new anymore. Like this has been going on since Chase Young left. Like the productivity has declined. The recruiting outside of landing JT and Jack, which was essentially a gimme.
Mickey Mouse could have been his lead recruiter and landed him.
Mike Hall is pretty similar in that regard. You may disagree. I don't know. I think that was not exactly going to be the most challenging recruitment that Ohio State ever faced. Like, you look at the last class and then the class before JT and Jack, I don't. It's not hard to figure out what has put them in this situation.
Yeah.
And you can't just blame NIL for going 0 for 3 on the big guys. I know that that's certainly a massive part of it, but that's not the excuse for previous classes or the lack of consistent pass rush for the previous 2 years before that. Like, you're not going to be able to constantly rely on generational talent. Nick Bosa, Joey Bosa, Chase Young, those guys are generational talents for a reason. You're not going to have one every single year. You have to be able to produce a unit that can match their productivity without having one person put that all on their shoulder. Yeah. And this team has not done that now.
Would you say the offensive line is kind of in the same boat as the defensive line? As far as players,
but the position coach changed.
So that's what I was going to get at. Maybe the cupboards are a little bare,
and it's changed 3 times since 2015. I mean, it's not.
Yeah, fair, but there was a change made on. Maybe it's getting. Is it stale on one side, recruiting wise?
I just think that you're entering a different world. There are old ways of recruiting. There are new ways of recruiting, and I'm not trying to suggest Larry Johnson isn't catching up to the new ways. I just think that his style, he's a much more in-person guy. Like right now, we're recording this on Monday afternoon. There's a group of 14 guys or so from California who are down the street at the Woody Hayes Athletic Center visiting right now, including a couple big-time defensive linemen. They will leave that visit with Larry Johnson awestruck because in person and the ability to connect with him mano a mano, going over film, showing technique, he is still the best in the country without question at that. Now, the problem is we're in Ohio, and those guys aren't really growing up here anymore. You have your occasional Michael Halls or Jack Sawyers. That doesn't exist. Go look at the Ohio high school football rosters of teams around the state. There are not a lot of those guys, right? Geography is destiny, essentially, and demographics is destiny, I guess. So Ohio is sort of –
You two are digging deep.
Ohio has sort of lost a lot of that, big-time defensive line production in the state. So you get 1 or 2 of those guys every 1 or 2 years, and then you have to go out and really connect. Part of that is being involved with these kids and their parents every day, day in, day out, because Georgia's certainly doing that. Trey Scout at Georgia is involved every day. That is not Larry Johnson's style, nor should it be if it's not who he is. You're not going to go out there and fake it. You're not going to go out there.
Sometimes you got to fake it till you make it, Berm.
You're not going to go out there.
You're not making it right now.
Right. You're not going to go out there and force conversation that you're not. That now that's where a guy like last year they had Miguel Patrick, a younger guy from Georgia who had a lot of ties in the South. He did a great job connecting, but he's gone now. So now you have to replace him. So those guys, and it's even. I mean, it's the same concept really with Jim Knowles. Like that job for James Laurinaitis is to be the buffer between kids on campus versus recruiting kids off campus. So James Laurinaitis is the guy who's recruiting every linebacker for Ohio State. When they get on campus, it's both Laurinaitis and Knowles. But until then, or until Knowles has to go out and do evals in person, it's all Laurinaitis. So until Larry Johnson has someone that he's really comfortable with in that spot and someone who understands the landscape and understands Ohio State, like it's very easy for Brian Hartline and James Laurinaitis, guys who grew up or played at Ohio State and understand the culture, understand what it means to be at Ohio State like you guys do, versus bringing in a random guy from like Louisiana. The new assistant defensive line coach is from Louisiana. He's not. I mean, he's just trying to recruit kids who he knows, but what are you selling? How do you connect? And I think that's been Larry's biggest issue. I don't know how you connect with kids in today's world. I'm as tech savvy as any 44-year-old guy in the country is, and I have a much more difficult time connecting with recruits today than I did 5 years ago, because they just have way different priorities than they did 5 years ago, and everything's changed. So I just don't know if maybe that's where there's a hiccup. Get him in person, and I'm telling you, those kids are going to
understand what you're saying. And I imagine, I mean, you talk about how it's changed for you in recruiting. I mean, I imagine being a coach for 40-some years and having all of a sudden, I got to do what?
Yeah.
I have my phone?
You need to
I used
DM
to have
this
to pick
kid.
up a phone and dial a number to get somebody. Now I have this thing that
Now it goes down in the DMs.
I mean, that
Larry's got to get
that's
Snapchat.
gotta be interesting.
I mean,
But maybe they just need to do a coaching session on
But it is amusing
social
when-
media.
when he tries to use Twitter publicly, and he can't quite figure out how to put the pictures in there, and you get random.
So it's almost
source
worse
codes.
when he does do it, because they're like, this guy is.
But that's to
no idea.
Berm's point. Like the time has changed. Is that going to be something that he's ever good at or wants to do? No, I think all of us would. Be
I don't
better
think any
off if we
coach would
didn't
be-
have to use it. I mean, but the time.
Did that have anything to do? Here's a question for you guys. Offensive side, we got rid of Stud. I mean, we bring in a younger guy. Did that have anything to do with that hire, bringing in a younger guy who maybe understands?
I think they wanted someone who understands that you have to make an effort in recruiting, not just period. Not
Stud was the same way, though. I mean, your point's actually somewhat accurate. Is that he was much better in person and much better on campus than he was off, and it wasn't like you have to want to do that. You have to want to be a great recruiter. It is not something that's natural to every coach, especially old gruff offensive line coaches. It's just not their MO.
I think that's the amusing part to me when Brian Hartline pushes back. Like, you're a great recruiter. You win the National Recruiter of the Year. Like, what makes you a great recruiter? He's, I'm not. I just do relationships. Well, that's nonsense. Like,
I mean, that is recruiting. Yes.
And he can say that. It's semantics.
Mm-hmm.
You have to want to try to form those relationships with 17 and 18-year-old kids who all have different priorities and different wants and likes and what they want to do. Like, I can understand why you wouldn't want to get to know every 17-year-old kid in the country. Like that seems like a great way to pull all of your hair out and run far away from whatever profession that might be.
What Hartline does so well, again, it is semantics, but it's not a job for him to talk to these kids, and that's really the difference. Like, are you Brian Hartline genuinely likes talking about wide receiver play and the ins and outs of the position, and he wants to be involved in helping these kids, even the ones that don't end up at Ohio State. He doesn't spend a lot of time talking to kids that he's not serious about bringing here, but he's only going to bring in 3 or 4 every year. So he really is talking to 7 or 8 or 9 kids on a regular basis. And the ones that don't end up here, he's still going to talk to about the position and how to mold them. And it's not a job.
That's almost any coach should be, though, 70. You don't have to go chasing around 25 kids every year.
At Ohio State, absolutely.
Well,
I know, but
isn't that part of the issue right now for at certain positions? Like
I think so.
The net is not cast wide enough, because I think you're right. I think you can be selective if you're going to put in the effort to be in the face of those.
Of
7 or 8
those,
guys.
yes.
But if you're going to be selective and then not do everything you need to do to make sure you get one of those chosen 3 or 4 that you're after, then it becomes a problem, because then they don't come, and then you're back to the drawing board with no one to talk to.
Right, and then you're trying to reach out to
with
kids.
A new left tackle and no right tackle.
You're trying to reach out to kids in December and say, hey, by the way, I coached at Ohio State. And they're like, by the way, I've been committed to here for 9 months. Screw off.
That's great. Go Bucks.
It's not ideal, but yeah, I mean, to your point, if you're not an aggressive relationship builder and understand that you're going to have your very select group and be, intimately involved, everyday conversation, that is what kids want now. It's the same as just normal teenage conversation is every day talking the entire day, right? It's like, hey, what are you doing at 8 in the morning? At 11:30? Nothing, just in class. What are you doing? 25 minutes later, I'm on my way to class. Cool. An hour later, what do you have for lunch? It's stupid, but it is like,
and it's this too, right?
It's not real, but unless you make it real and make it intentional, and so that is a challenge for a older school coach. I mean, it's not hard to really fathom or figure out. It's just how committed are you to fixing it, or do you have a younger guy in place like Miguel Patrick was a year ago to pick up the slack?
Yeah, Larry's not had a ton of stability in that role, has he? Seems like it's pretty, and it's not. It's because if you work with Larry Johnson, it's a pretty good thing to have a fast resume.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's been a little bit of a revolving door for him.
Yep. We didn't mean to. I mean, this is the
We
point.
just went down-
Hey, this is
down a
Roosters.
road. I
This
mean-
is Roosters fun, casual conversation.
Well, when
We
you talk
never-
about things you wanted to see this spring, you went down a list of.
we never
things
know
that-
where it's going. We never know.
I
Chose.
wouldn't have guessed that we would get to that serious conversation after you were begging for Chose.
I still want some shows. I'm actually a little disappointed we don't have some
Rooster's Nest.
some cheese baked wedges out
Yeah,
of these
Rooster's
table.
Nest is like nachos, but instead of chips,
I heard
it's
it
like
has
fries and
cheese
chicken.
on it.
And wings.
Yeah.
Nacho cheese comes on it. Cho cheese.
Cho cheese?
Here's the
Cho
thing.
cheese comes on that.
Chochi?
We have been
It's like a heart attack in a basket.
at this table pretty much every day for the last 3 years. I've never heard of this Rooster's Nest.
I just heard about today. Yeah, you're right.
I have heard about it. I've heard tales.
Heard
So,
the tale.
folks,
But I've
America,
always been too intimidated to go.
I've
with-
never had it.
It says like dumpster fries with wings on it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can't be bad.
I don't know that I would ever want like chochi dropped on top of a wing.
I definitely would. America, the next time you're at Roosters,
Can't be terrible.
any Roosters in Ohio, order yourself a Rooster's Nest. Thank Jay-Z.
And on Tuesdays, go into Roosters and get your $3 appetizers. Tomorrow is fried mushrooms.
If Bill Zwick leaves any,
If he leaves any.
that's the question.
I had to tell him no. He wanted to come. He was chomping at the bit today. I said, no, Dad, you stay home.
Wow, that's
You can't eat all the food on the table.
I liked it when he was here
Doctor's
last
orders.
time. He just sat over there and read a book.
I know. It's so weird. And then he's like, this is great.
What did
I'm
he-
like, you sat and read a
Yeah.
book.
What do you think this was, a Buckeye basketball game?
No, he'd be into that. He's watching the women play today at whatever time they play.
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock.
get ready for that.
Hey.
He'll be tuned in.
Number 3 seed Buckeyes, number 6 UNC. It's right down the road. If you're in Columbus, you may as well go.
What a great idea.
Tickets available still?
I would bet they are.
There's a lot of pressure on Berm to make sure that this episode gets up by 4 o'clock now.
Yep. Be there or have been there.
Or catch the highlights
Or we
tomorrow.
Hope you had a great time at the NCAA tournament. Anyway, this has been an interesting show. Second half, tried to match the first. I don't know if we did it.
Probably not.
But we at least gave it our best effort. A full week, practice Tuesday, Thursday, scrimmage Saturday, pro day on Wednesday. We will have coverage of that on the podcast and at ohiostate.rivals.com all week long. We greatly appreciate Nicole Cox having us in here in the Horseshoe Lounge again. Look forward to getting her back after spring break. We thank Kamryn Babb and Cam Brown for their time. And, of course, that is Bill Landis, Justin Zwick, and Berm. I'm Austin Ward. We will see you next week back in here at Roosters for an Appetizer Tuesday show. We'll see you then.